All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Defcon Economics. I am your host, Devin, back with episode 13 entitled The Evergrande Default Has Started, and the silver squeeze theory I hadn't heard of. I wanted to do this video in support of Jack Gamble of Nobody Special Finance. Get over there and check out his channel. It's all fantastic stuff with a great humorous twist. I really enjoy his stuff, and I have been a supporter now ever since I found out about his channel. So the first thing we need to do is discuss, of course, the Evergrande default, and basically they could not pay their debt coupon they owed on, and so the ratings company Fitch and it looks like Moody's and S&P are set to follow shortly, downgraded insolvent property developers China Evergrande Group and Kaisa Group, saying that they had defaulted on offshore bonds. Okay, so the Evergrande saga looks to be nearing its final spectacular climax here. Now I want to go ahead and give credit where credit is due to Economic Ninja, a fantastic presenter and creator. Sorry about my weird grammar there, but a fantastic presenter and creator. He does a good job just doing short and long videos and interviews and really getting you guys kind of a spin maybe you hadn't heard of. I've definitely found his videos both fun, endearing, as well as just good for information, and he's looking at the same article as me here and he goes over it with you guys. So credit where credit is due. He is on top of it. Go and watch Economic Ninja's channel and specifically this video to get his take on it. I couldn't recommend him more highly. But over here at Nobody Special Finance's channel, you can see that just in the top, oh goodness, what is it about? The top 6 to 12 of his videos are related to Evergrande, and he's really done a good job just following Dr. Metzler, who bought some bonds and had them defaulted on, and it seems that now he's going to be filing some court proceedings. And he's just really done a good job staying on top of it, really getting out different videos, talking about different angles and the updates on the Evergrande Fiasco. And it's so important to really go watch his videos because he just does a good job going through information and breaking it all down kind of simplistically and making some fantastic points. But now I want to move over here to a Reuters article so that we can see a little bit of a mainstream perspective, which just gives us the same story. Ratings agency Fitch downgraded property developers China Evergrande Group and Kaisa Group on Thursday, saying they had defaulted on offshore bonds. And a source had said Kaisa was working on restructuring its 12 billion offshore debt, 12 billion in offshore debt. Now, it is a restricted default, meaning they haven't actually officially announced any defaults or plans to default or anything like that. And here it notes that Evergrande has more, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Evergrande has more than 300 billion in liabilities, which I would call a sizable number even in a world that has $603 trillion in credit and debt derivatives floating around. 300 billion is still a nice chunk. Particularly for a property developer. So there's been a lot of talk, there's been a lot of this in the news, but what I thought was not covered nearly enough was something I want to draw your attention to again from Mr. Jack Gamble. And he did a video, 2 different videos, but I liked this one specifically. He did a video that is entitled, "Is the Evergrande Silver Squeeze Starting? Base Metal Demand Falling in China." Or base metal demand in China falling, either way. So in this video, he discusses how most property companies are the consumers of lots of copper, lots of base metals, lots of steel and iron and all these good things that we use to build our firm, strong structures, at least hopefully. And so China is an absolutely massive consumer of things like copper, which is often where silver is found most frequently, as I understand it, as a byproduct. Now, I could be wrong. Feel free to check me on that. I always want to learn. So we're going to go over here to statista.com. Whether or not they are the best source is up to you, but I thought it was just good to get a visual here. Distribution of refined copper consumption worldwide in 2020 by region. And you can see there's other 6%, Americas 11%, other Asian or other Asia 14%, Europe 15%, pretty much the highest of all of those. But the massive Pac-Man eating all those is China at 54%. So those other three don't even if, in fact, all four, if you combine all four other vectors of consumption, then China's the only, I mean, they're 54% of the consumption of copper. So if property building, to put it very, very plainly, if the building of properties stops, well, then base metal demand in China will probably fall, and copper consumption will likely go down for a bit. And this isn't a video about copper, this is a video about silver. So let's look over here at silver as a native element from geology.com. I'm going to read you a little bit from this because I thought it was important to get a geological perspective, and geology.com really does a good job, and they are a wealth of information. Silver as a native element mineral. Silver is rarely found as a native element mineral. When found, it is often associated with quartz, gold, copper, sulfides of other metals, arsenides of other metals, and other silver minerals. Unlike gold, it is rarely found in significant amounts in placer deposits, meaning large clumps of mainly silver. Native silver is sometimes found in the oxidized zones above the ores of other metals. It persists there because silver does not readily react with oxygen or water. It does react with hydrogen sulfide to produce a tarnished surface that is composed of the silver sulfide mineral known as acanthite. Many specimens of native silver that have been exposed to the atmosphere or to hydrothermal activity have an acanthite coating. Acanthite, I'm assuming that is how that is properly pronounced, not being a geology major myself. So you can see here that when it is found, it is often associated with quartz, gold, copper, sulfides of other metals, and arsenides of other metals, and other silver minerals long before it's found in its own placer deposits or large clumps. And often, as far as I understand it, there aren't that many epithermal or near surface deposits of silver. And on top of that, if you think about something that if inflation is raging and costs are going up for companies, then silver, which is currently at a low price, there's likely going to be a disincentivization, not the proper word. You guys can make fun of me for that all you would like. I like to laugh at myself sometimes. They're going to disincentivize silver miners to go and explore for and hunt for silver. So I think it's important to understand that, first of all, major silver miners like First Majestic, Pan American, and others, they have to explore for their metals. It's not like the metals are just popping out of nowhere into existence randomly. They have to look for the metal. They have to test for it. They have to verify there's a sizable enough deposit to start trying to build infrastructure to then extract the metal. They have to decide if it's going to be underground, is it an underground system, or is it above ground? I'm invested, for example, with a company that has an underground mine, but they also have some kind of cool little extra stuff on the surface. So it's good to know about these things. And something to really think about is there's hardly any major silver producers. The largest one, First Majestic Silver, now owns, I think they own Jarrett Canyon, a gold producing asset, and they are now, I believe, 60-40 silver don't quote me on that. Go watch Keith Neumeyer, or Papa Keith as I call him. Go watch Keith Neumeyer's interviews to get the skinny on that. But again, now we understand that silver is not normally found in its own deposits. It's often associated with other metals and minerals. So we see that copper being one of those metals that China consumes a massive amount of copper, if that's what silver is really associated with often, and of course these other metals, which are often associated, except for gold, with industry and property, and industry is also associated with property, then it makes very good sense here in this video. I highly recommend you go watch it. Again, this is a support video to his videos. It makes good sense that if base metal demand falls, that we might actually get a real world silver squeeze, not by apes or anybody else buying or a whale coming in, but by a simple lack of demand in base metals causing a shortage in silver, because they've claimed there have been claims all over the place that there's just plenty of it, and even if there wasn't, we could go just pretty much turn on mines and just find it. And that's simply not the case anymore, as you can understand that if these companies are going under, they're going to stop likely building as much property, not necessarily, but likely. If that goes down, well, then likely production of silver will go down, and Jack Gamble's theory may well come to fruition. And I would love to see that happen for him and for the silver market itself. That'd be really cool. So hopefully I drew your attention to a part of the Evergrande collab, or Evergrande, whichever way it's pronounced. Hopefully I drew your attention to another aspect of it that you may not have thought about that affects silver. But it's not just Evergrande, it's all these other Chinese property developers. Again, Mr. Jack Gamble has done a fantastic job detailing those, and I highly recommend you go check his channel out. So I really appreciate him. I really appreciate Economic Ninja, getting out there and sharing things, very important things, different ways to look at things, and fighting the good fight, trying to keep everybody motivated. Fantastic. Nobody special finance, Jack Gamble, just great wit, great humor, great analysis, funny guy. I really enjoy his stuff. Just a good, humble person. Here we saw a mainstream article speaking about the defaults, the restricted defaults. Here we saw that copper is mainly consumed by China, probably for property, if we all had to guess, of course for industry, of course for electronics, of course for other things. But mostly likely for property and wiring and all the things that go into massive property. And could Mr. Jack Gamble be right? Because I hadn't heard of this silver squeeze theory itself, China being the trigger. And so I just thought it was very, very important to discuss. All right, guys. Well, hopefully I drew your attention to a few things you hadn't thought about before, or maybe just a different way of looking at things. Remember, China consumes most of the copper. Silver is not normally found in large deposits. By itself, it is often associated with other metals, specifically lead, zinc, copper, quartz, and others. And when it is found, it's often not found in very large quantities. It's hard to extract. It's found in the grams per ton range. I always liken that to peanuts, and peanuts to elephants is a good way to visualize that example. So guys, hopefully you are now hip to the Evergrande silver squeeze theory, originated, as far as I know, by Mr. Jack Gamble. So I really enjoyed making this short video. I just thought it was great to draw attention to and learn a few, new things myself. I always do learn something, even if I've already read the stuff. So hopefully you guys learned something too. And this particular video is dedicated to the Wall Street Silver Forum, where hopefully you guys are taking a look at these videos and learning something you hadn't before. So again, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe, interact, and let me know that what I'm putting out is working. If it's not, tell me what I can do better to get this information out in a more palatable or enjoyable manner. All right, guys. Well, I really love doing these for you. I enjoy researching and looking into things that get me thinking and get me excited about life and get me excited about moving forward. I hope I got you guys excited. I hope you guys are looking forward, taking good care of yourself, your families, enjoying your holiday season. And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up by thanking Mr. Jack Gamble of Nobody Special Finance for the Evergrande Silver Squeeze Theory. This was episode number 13. And yeah, guys, thanks so much for being with me. I had a good time looking through some of this stuff and just reading. Hopefully you will too. Hopefully you'll go look for yourself. And again, this was Defcon Economics episode 13. This is Devin signing off.